Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan. Today we are going over the 10 pre-order 42 series diamonds. We're going to rank them 1 to 10, 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. We will show you, for 8 of them, previous versions of their card. Now, all of these cards are going to be under a 90 overall. I'm imagining 88 and under. The Jackie Robinson they showed today was an 88 overall in the gameplay. I'll be completely honest with you. I am very disappointed with the pre-order diamonds this year. There's 2 that I'm excited for. You'll know who they are very quickly if you don't already. Realistically, I'm not that excited for any of the cards. They could all be replaced easily by live series players, which I guess is what you want in the beginning of the year. The top 2 are the only ones I really care for. So let's get into it. Before we do though, let me know what you think down below. What do you think of the 10 that they released? Are you excited? Are you not excited? Were you expecting more? I was expecting more new legends. I like new legends at the beginning of the year. Anywho, let's get into it. Here we go. Number 1, Pedro Martinez. So here is Pedro Martinez. Now, I have no stats to go off of right now, but we know he's going to throw gas. We know he's going to have good off speed. He's going to have good Ks per 9, hits per 9, walks per 9, hopefully. With it being an 88 overall version though, or lower, you never know. It's going to be under a 90. We know that. It's going to lack in some areas. So he's going to throw gas though. You're going to be able to keep your guys off balance. This is a card you will want to have to begin the year. Number 2, Hank Aaron. Ironically, the 2 newcomers to the show, the 2 newcomers to this pack even, are the top 2 guys. The other guys, we know what they are. We know what to expect. These guys, there's a new factor to them. You want to play with them. Hank Aaron is going to get you a lot of power. He's going to get you some good contact. Depending on what it is in his career, it'll be interesting to see how much speed he has. This is a center fielder version of his card. So I'm excited to see kind of how much speed he's got, what kind of arm he has. Obviously, a bit before my time, I don't know how good of a defender he was, but he's going to get you a good bat. You will want Hank Aaron, especially when you're going up against live series pitching to begin the season. Number 3, Babe Ruth. So the reason I have Babe Ruth ranked so high is because they did a lot this year in talking about having a created player be a two-way player. If they were to give us a version which was a little bit of the best of both worlds for Babe Ruth, I could see him being a 3 spot. If not, he's probably dropping down to 4 or 5. But yeah, the only version really to compare him to is this 85 version, which was him as a starting pitcher. He did also have some hitting stats. It wasn't much, but it was still a bit of something. I don't know which version they'd go with. On the card art, it's him hitting. I'd imagine it's him in the outfield. However, it'd be interesting if they could also use him as pitcher. The hope of him being as a two-way player is the reason I have him as high on the list as I do. If he isn't, I'm not that high on him. He's going to have some pretty decent power, some pretty decent contact, but his fielding and his speed are going to lack tremendously. Number 4, Bob Gibson. And here is the 85 overall Bob Gibson. He's going to throw gas. He's got a good curveball. He is a good card either way you look at him. If they get the 88 version, if you give him a couple more points here, maybe in the walk category, he could actually be a very good starting pitcher to begin the year. Especially if you went with Pedro and Bob Gibson. You could have 2 studs back to back, at least for the beginning of the season. I've enjoyed his cards in the past. He is one of my higher guys. He is number 4 overall. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to go with him, but if the stats kind of wow me once they actually come out, I may have to go for Bob Gibson. Number 5, Jackie Robinson. And here is the 88 overall Jackie Robinson from previous games. Now, so one thing to keep in mind with this Jackie Robinson card, he is an 88 in this version. However, this is him at left field. He is a second baseman in this version, so the card might be a little bit different. It might have a little bit more speed from earlier in his playing career. But with this card, you're going to get a lot of contact, a little bit of power, not much. You're going to get some decent fielding, and you're going to get a lot of speed. For a second baseman, you want somebody with good contact and speed, so he will be a good card, especially early in the year. I've hit well with him in the past, but again, This is just kind of one of those cards that it doesn't really do anything for me. I can find somebody in a live series version who can do the same thing. So I think I'm going to pass on Jackie. We'll see once the stats come out. Number 6, Frank Thomas. And here we have the Frank Thomas from the MLB The Show 19 pre-order Diamond Pack. He was an 87 overall. Fielding, you know what it's going to be. Speed, you know what it's going to be. I wasn't impressed with this card whatsoever. He had no power for a first baseman, especially for Frank Thomas. You think Frank Thomas, you think power. This card was the last card out of the 30 pre-order diamonds that you could select that I picked. Hopefully in this one, if they don't do a copy and paste version, they'll give him a bit more power, take off some contact. I'd be fine with that. Number 7, Ken Griffey Jr. So Ken Griffey Jr. is an interesting one in the fact that I don't know which version they'd go with. They've given him multiple versions before. This 89 version with the Reds was actually a very good card. I actually really enjoyed this card for when it came out. If this were the version of Ken Griffey that they came out with, I might move him up into possibly the top 2 or 3. Probably not. Probably still going to go with Pedro and Hank Aaron just because they are the new guys. But Griffey could move up into the 3 hole if it was this version of his card. So on the flip side of that, there is also the 88 version of Ken Griffey Jr., which also came out in the same year. This one had pretty decent contact, not much power, good fielding, decent speed. I was never that impressed by this card. I never used this card much. If it's this version, I'm staying away. If it's the version with a little bit more power, I'm probably going to go in that direction. I'd much more prefer that card over this one. Number 8, Willie Mays. So here we have the 87 overall Willie Mays. Really, this card isn't anything fantastic. He's going to have good contact against lefties, but realistically, you're going to face righties more often than not, especially early in the season. He's going to have speed. He's not going to steal you a whole lot of bases, though, unless you yourself get the good jump. He will have good fielding, though, so if you want a good fielding center fielder with a little bit of speed, in the beginning of the year, Willie Mays might be your guy. Number 9. Mariano Rivera. And here is the 87 overall Mariano Rivera. I quite frankly feel like this card will be a copy and paste. He has good per 9s, no doubt about it, but when you throw a cutter, a 4-seam, a 2-seam, and a slider, 3 of the pitches come in at the exact same speed, you're essentially a 2-pitch pitcher. It's not going to be good. Even at the beginning of the year, this card was not a very good card. Once the 99 version came out with a changeup, he was great, but before that, he was very hittable. Number 10, Cal Ripken Jr. Here we have Cal Ripken from 2 years ago. This is MLB The Show 19. It was his 87 pre-order diamond version. So quite frankly, I could very easily see this as his card as well. He was the only one in that pre-order who was a diamond hitter and a diamond defender. However, his stats look great. They really do. Solid contact, not much power, but a fantastic glove up the middle. His swing just doesn't do anything in this game. I like Ripken. I was a Ripken fan, but his swing, I've just never used him in this game. I'm not going to go after Ripken unless there's a collection. As always, thank you guys for joining. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Have a great evening. We'll be back later on in the week with some more content. Have a good one.